This conference will now be recorded.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. County Commission meeting December 28th, 9 a.m. Start off with any public comments. Seeing none, hearing none, close public comments. Move on to, looks like Deidre's on, so we'll go ahead and do the COVID update. Deidre? There she is.
Okay, I'm here.
All right.
Sorry, I stepped out for a minute. So as of 7:30 this morning, we have 456 confirmed, 198 probable, 37 active, 6 hospitalizations, 5 vital statistics verified deaths. From 12/6 to 12/19, our 14-day rolling positivity rate is 21%, with 90 positives out of 428 tests. Any questions? The hands, go ahead.
No questions.
Okay, the hand sanitizers I spoke of a couple weeks ago have been distributed to food banks, and local churches had the opportunity to receive some, and the Department on Aging received some to distribute to the senior centers. When I spoke with you last, you said go ahead and get some more from the state, so we should be having 10 more cases arriving, and that will be distributed also. We have received, last week we received a limited number of the COVID-19 vaccine doses, and I'm working with EMS for administration. Last week we administered a few doses to COVID healthcare workers, and the doses the vaccine comes in 10-dose vials, so we have to use those 10 doses within 6 hours. So we're trying to schedule, I'm working with Travis so that we can do the EMS and then health department staff with this shipment. So any questions?
Deidre?
Yes.
Is this the Pfizer or the other brand?
Moderna.
Moderna.
This is, the hospitals got the Pfizer, some of the larger hospitals, and I do know that Hillsborough got a small amount and they administered it to their healthcare workers, but theirs was the Pfizer. Ours is Moderna, so anybody that starts with either Moderna or Pfizer has to stick with that. They are not interchangeable.
Okay, so if there's Pfizer, then Hillsborough Hospital has a refrigerator or something to keep it cold?
Yeah, either they have a storage or it can be kept in dry ice.
Okay.
Now our vaccine is kept in our vaccine freezer.
Okay.
So the Moderna does not have to be stored at as cold of temperature.
Okay.
Is there some places are concerned about too many details as far as where they're located, because I didn't know if we need to be careful on that, or I don't see people around here,
Well,
Throwing
that's
elbows,
why
but-
you'll notice I don't tell you the numbers.
Okay. My main question is, how soon do you foresee the majority of our nursing home residents being vaccinated?
Those should be coming out this week. The nursing homes are being taken care of CVS and also Walgreens. They are providing the immunizations to staff and residents. So they should be seeing that come out this week. I know there are several that have their dates already scheduled. So,
Okay, so then it'll be another 3 weeks before they get their second dose? After
yes,
that?
Pfizer you get in 21 days and Moderna you get in 28 days.
Okay. So looking towards the end of January, best case scenario?
Correct.
Okay.
Any further questions?
And as of right now, we don't know, even after we receive both doses of either one, we still don't have the answer to how long it protects you.
That is correct. Anybody that does receive the vaccine is encouraged to sign up for VSafe. That is a program that is a healthcare checker for that. They will get in touch with you either by text or by phone call, and in 3 months, 6 months, and a year. And I think that might be kind of how we'll learn if someone got the vaccine and finished that series of 2 doses, then in 3 months, have they come down with COVID? And in 6 months, have they come down with COVID, or a year? I think that's going to kind of help us determine how effective.
Okay. Thank you.
Deidre, this is Kent. I had an individual that had COVID recently, said they got a call from KDHE, and KDHE told them they would be immune to the COVID until next March. Is that correct?
Once you have COVID, you are thought to be immune for 90 days. So that's probably what they were figuring. And that is also how we're kind of determining we are vaccinating people. If they've had COVID within 90 days, we are saving that vaccine for someone else. So we will catch them on the next round of vaccine.
Well, I thought that was good that KDHE is letting people know that they have some immunity for a certain period of time.
Yes,
But you still wear a face mask.
exactly. Well, and I don't want people to think that just because we're giving the vaccinations that they don't have to wear a face mask either, because until you're fully vaccinated with those 2 doses, your immunity has not been shown to be at their full potential. And even then, with any vaccine, there is a small percentage of individuals who the vaccine does not provide immunity to. So it is very important to still wear your mask. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Deidre.
Okay, ready for admin? Okay, I have the minutes of December 21.
Everybody had a chance to review the minutes, December 21? Any questions or corrections?
I'll move to accept the December 21 minutes as written.
Got a second by Randy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
change orders.
I'm gonna move this stuff so you can do some sliding here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, is that the flat stroval? Is that what that says? Chocolate
Anybody want to
spread.
see that? Pass that away from here.
Randy will get into it.
I don't need it.
You got sweet tooth.
I didn't get this from that much.
It's hard to
Takes a lot of work, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, just to maintain it.
Oh, to maintain it, there you go.
Today might be the day. My pen is looking a little weak.
Uh-oh.
You got a new one there in front of
That's
you.
a brand new one.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You got plenty of ink over there. If you wear all 5 of them out time it gets to us, well, we got problems.
We got a problem. Another well. Another well.
Hate to see too many wells get plugged.
I know.
Afraid it's going on all over the place.
This is the next thing. So here's yours.
Oh.
I just can't reach him.
Oh, okay. Okay. Not as bad as last week.
Come on, do your job here, Dave.
I missed one.
He can do that to me when I miss one.
It's trying to get through. Let's sit together.
Yeah.
You can
Okay, just wanted to verify, sometimes in the past, we have closed at noon on the last day of the year. And since we did not, it used to be a holiday, but it hasn't been in a while, but sometimes we've closed early, but that's been because we've had our employee luncheon on that day. And we had our employee party on the evening this year. So I just wanted to verify the board's, you know, are you planning on us staying open a full day on the 31st? Or are you planning on us closing at 12? I've just had a lot of questions from people, and I was assuming it's a regular day, but I didn't want to assume, so.
Last day of the year.
Yes, on the 31st.
31st, we have our meeting in the morning.
Yes.
Is there a lot of year-end work that needs to be done, can it be done in January?
The majority of the year-end work is actually done in January. Not saying there's not work to do, but.
One of the reasons why we closed a couple times, we had some dinner or something.
Right, yeah, the last few times it's been because we've had our holiday party as a luncheon on the last day of the year, so.
And then didn't come back, but.
Right. So we've done it both ways in the past, even before we did the lunches, and I just want to make sure that you're planning on it being a full day, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I would look at it, it'd be a full day, because the holiday's actually that night. You don't want them here the next day, so.
A lot of procrastinators that wait till the last day of the year to
Yeah.
do something in the last hour.
So regular work day?
Yeah, regular day.
Okay. Okay, we did go out for local bids on the lease purchase for the 2012 cab motor grader. And I do have I have 3 bids here that were received, so. I solicited the bids for a 3-year and a 5-year, so.
Hand that one off to you.
The amount being financed is $146,000.
Okay, the first bid, Cottonwood Valley Bank on the 2012 Caterpillar Model 12 M2 motor grader. Amount finance $146,000. 3-year bid 1.99. 5-year bid 2.14. Next one, on the same item, Marion National Bank. This is a 3-year, 1.99. 5-year, 2.13, with a $100 origination fee. Same on both of them. Both of them are $100 loan origination fee. And the third one is Community Bank and Trust. 3-year, 1.91. 5-year, 2.11. Very National's 5-year.
2.13.
2.13. Boy, all of them are really close.
Community Trust is okay, but where are they?
That
Burns.
there's no loan origination fee on the Cottonwood Valley or the community.
They have bid on, they have financed some of the stuff through us too, with us.
Yeah. Does anybody want to see the written,
Let me see that one there.
this one?
And they also have $100 origination fee for.
Just Marion National's the only one that has $100 loan origination.
Oh, okay.
I thought you said talk about it.
That being said, I'll make a motion to approve Community National Banks on a 5-year at 2.11%.
Second.
Yeah. Before you, yeah, I don't know what the payments figure out to be there.
The payments,
Yeah. What I'm getting at is,
2 years, 5 years.
yeah, what's the,
They were better on both on that one,
yeah,
Community National.
that's a 5-year.
right,
Right.
but which one do we as a council wanna do for a
Right.
plan? That's my,
Right.
which one do you wanna do? Do you wanna do a 5-year, cause you're gonna have more equipment, a lot of times 4 years has been,
How much is the payment for 5?
31,104.29 on a 5-year, and
For 3 years?
no, that's 5 years.
it's 5 years.
Yeah.
It's a 3-year.
What's a 3-year payment?
That's 5 years.
Yeah, what is the 3-year?
3 years, 50,585.24.
5,000?
No,
50,000.
50, 50.
50,585.24. And so, you know, based on a 10-year average life of a new maintainer, you know, yeah, this one was, I think he was talking about at least a 7-year life or 7 or 8 year life on that.
Is this the low hour 20?
Yeah,
Yes.
2008,
2012.
12.
well, 2012. Based on that, that's my motion.
I'm okay with it, I just wanted to see
Right.
what was out here.
We want it to fit in the
Yeah, into a plan.
rotation.
Yeah, because I think you're gonna see more, you know. And we've had as high as 5 and 6 graders at a time, and then maybe a truck or two. Have 6 or 7 high-dollar items on a rotation type deal.
So,
That's where we was hoping to get to, so we'd only have to bid 1 or 2 items a year rather
Yes.
than 5.
Yes.
yeah, we got a motion and a second for Community National 5-year. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0.
Okay. May I have that folder back?
Yep.
Is there anything, I just want to see if this one has anything we have to sign. I don't think so. Nope. Okay. We have, I gave you on the table this morning the early checks, and these are for, to be paid from risk management and reimbursed by Spark. I don't know when the reimbursement will be. We may end up having to have a special meeting on the 30th to finish up the reimbursements, because all of our payments have to be paid out by the 30th of December, so. But these are 2 bills that were received by the county. And one of them is for some payroll for the juvenile detention facility.
Yeah, and I had talked to Janine about that. She's the one who really helped facilitate to get that through on the last hour. So, I'm gonna stop off and thank her for that.
Any other discussions on the warrant? I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Randy.
Would you please restate your motion to actually include what we're approving? Thank you.
The early checks in the amount of $3,063.
Thank you.
Still got your second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. 5-0.
2 checks was $2,784 to the juvenile detention center and $279 to the Landing Pharmacy.
Yes, thank you. So that's kind of nice to have that read out, because since it wasn't in the packets, the people in the electronic meeting won't see it.
No,
So, thank you. Okay.
Transport fuel. Oh, it's right, price.
Well, Bryce is not gonna be here today. So he had let me know that he's gonna have the transport and carry of fuel bits. So that'll be the next thing during admin, and then I have nothing else after that, so. And I see everybody's still signing that big old book.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes. Thursday.
They're Thursday. I do that thing with that ring sometimes.
Ready for a motion? On transport fuel bids?
Yeah, I just didn't look up to see the book was done. So, transport fuel bid looked like, looks like cooperative grain and supply is low. Bidder. So I'll make a motion to approve transport fuel bid to cooperative grain and supply. Second by Kent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. 5-0. The area fuel bids, looks like EPS is low on area 1 and 3. And MFA is low on area 2. Second. So, make a motion to approve area 1 and 3 to EPS and area 2 to MFA. Second by Randy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Check.
Okay, thank you. And I don't have anything else on admin.
All right, well, Bryce isn't gonna be here, let's just jump Travis right in the seat, he's here patiently waiting.
Morning. Last week I got called away, I wasn't able to be in here, but Tina did bring an item up for discussion. I have not reviewed minutes or the video to see how it went, but I understand there were some questions, so maybe we'll start out with, there's an individual that's in an AEMT class, he's to the internship part now, he's riding with Cedric County to get his experience and before taking the state boards. My proposal is that we scholarship, he's already paid for the class out of his pocket. It was my intention to use training funds from 2020 budget to basically scholarship that and pay him back his funds.
I think the main question from last week was making sure it was fair and across the board, so if.
Sure.
So not just certain people are getting it.
Sure. I don't get a lot of requests for scholarships. I don't have a lot of people going through or increasing their training level. We've done the EIG stateside with our current paramedic that just got certified. She has a 2-year obligation through the state and through us to work for us for 2 years for that EIG grant to be paid in full. So,
I think that was a big question.
Then the other question.
and we have, and I don't have quite enough, and I spilled coffee on my coffee, so.
The other question was insurance, if they were to leave Marion County, go work somewhere else,
Yeah.
pay it back, but
And it does, this wasn't written by me, I'm sure it was illegal some time ago. I know it's been around since 2016 anyway. And shall they, fail to meet the 2 years of service obligation, then they'll pay 100% within 14 days back to the county.
okay,
And it's written up, commission signs it.
that's the most that can be done. I mean, it's not
Sure.
like you can do anything else, so.
Correct. Another option, if you would feel more comfortable, is, I'm not sure his exact test date, but we're coming up on, he's through the majority of the class. If you wanted to wait, he is certified, then there's less risk there that we give him the money, if he were to not pass, again, it's in here that he would repay. If you prefer to wait until he's passed, that's up to you guys.
On passing.
Sure. And again, that's normally not how it's done in other places, but if that's the way we want to do it, I don't have a problem with that. But I think it's a young man that wants to work. He's volunteered since 2011. He's put in over 300 hours a month in the 2 years that I've been here. He's picking up a lot of time. I don't see that changing. He does want to work for us part-time, which creates an issue. And we've talked about that because of pay, if he works part-time versus volunteer, and I just can't do that. But he certainly is willing to come up and ride with the full-time people and gain experience. I think it's kind of what we're after, is to get local people involved and employed, and he's providing a service down in Peabody. I think it's a show of good faith to scholarship that. So
How do we go through going from a, what's before EMT? Just a
EMR.
EMR, from going from an EMR, paying for the schooling, to an EMT, paying for the schooling, to an EMTA, paying for the schooling, to a paramedic, paying for the schooling. There's a whole bunch of steps here.
Yep.
And we hire people that come to us fully qualified.
Sure.
And we pay more for that, and I understand that. I mean, we
Yeah.
we don't have to take training. But if a local person goes through all of those steps,
Right.
and we pay for a lot of training, should there be any valuation of or cost that we need to know that's going to cost us to do this
Yeah.
for our service?
I would, you're spot on, Randy. I've seen it happen. Not here,
No.
but in my experience, there are guys that work their way. Everybody went to work as an EMT, and then they became an AEMT. The city paid it, and then they paid for them to go to medic school. That's tough, but then again, if the end result is to train them and retain them, that's an expense. Now, obviously, if I had somebody that not everybody needs to go to medic school. Not everybody's cut out to go to paramedic school.
Correct.
There are people that are very good AEMTs, and they know they never want to go get a degree. They don't want to get to that next step. Then it's a good option. That's why the state rolled it out. I would certainly have a conversation with anybody that wanted to go to AEMT school, and we would have the paramedic conversation. If that's in your future, you just as well go to paramedic school. I think there's discussion that would certainly happen there before we were to do anything.
That's sort of, and I want every commission member to know that don't know what each schooling costs, what kind of money we're investing in a person, whether
Yeah.
local.
And
we want to do that, but we still want to know what it's going to cost. If you take all those steps that I just talked about, there's quite a few there.
Yeah.
So, and it's good to have people from local communities do this.
Sure.
Because that's what most likely keep them.
Yeah.
But, and then when you put it as a, how do you put it? Scholarship. That's another thing. Scholarships we don't pay back. So,
Sure.
I mean, to me, in my opinion, so.
Yeah, and I don't know.
So is there a correct word
Yeah, I don't
that
know.
we need to
Maybe
change
that's
for that?
maybe that's a terminology thing we need to look at.
Ask Brad's supposed to be here today, maybe that's something we can put off on him too.
Sure.
Not that I'm trying to cut it down, I just want it to be fair for everybody.
And I understand, and this is, as far as a volunteer paid per call person, this is the first one that we've had since I've been here that increased their training level, their certification level. He's certainly working towards that and wants to be involved, in our service. The other thing it gives us with our chase vehicle, our medic that's a roamer, we've had several instances lately where, there's trucks that are down because they only have one person. And again, the chance of him being down there by himself, they've happened, as well as other people down there by themselves, that person then goes down and makes an ambulance crew. And I think that's the direction we're headed.
Right.
If we can have a higher level of care on scene already,
Yes.
that's great.
And
So-
the AMTA is one step up for injections, the way I understand it.
Yeah, they have first line cardiac meds. They have things they can do, start IVs. Yeah, so that's again, a lot of the reason the state rolled that out was for rural areas to be able to have that access. So.
Thank you for answering the questions. I mean, and then if you think there needs to be some changes, the scholarship deal just threw me off completely.
Sure, and I see the terminology side of that.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
all
know.
it is, terminology.
Yeah, and so I can certainly talk with Brad, but I do have what's written up here. I mean, you can have it, or I'll make sure it's emailed to you or whatever. But
Maybe Dave.
We could work out the terminology with Brad later.
Sure.
I guess I would just make a motion, word it in a way that, make a motion to approve the scholarship for AEMT upon successful completion of the course.
Maybe payback, not scholarship.
Well, if they complete the course, we're achieving what we need. There's no reason to pay back unless they were to leave.
And it's written up going that way.
2 years.
It's 2 years for an AEMT.
So I would go ahead and have that be my motion, so that it ties to successful completion.
I'll second that.
Second by Randy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Okay.
And then if we need to, we'll take that scholarship issue up with Brad for the
Yeah.
next go around.
Sure, and it may just be, maybe grant is a better word. Because a grant, if you don't fulfill everything that you were supposed to, you pay it back, right? So maybe grant is a better word. So, now that I look at the paper, it says Marion County Grant Program. Maybe that's the word we should use. So, yeah.
Thank you, Travis.
Yeah, and I don't really have anything else. I would like to maybe get the ball rolling on some building discussion where we're gonna be in the future. I think some planning needs to be put in place. I know we talked this year about next year, which is coming up real quick.
Next week.
Yeah, it'll be here before we know it, and we can say goodbye to 2020 and at least open some dialogue here and see if we can get the ball rolling. So,
I have asked a few times and getting a little frustrated.
understood. I think there's options. We just need to sit down and talk about and get out in the open and see what we can do.
So Travis, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
It's unrelated here.
Sure.
Do you feel as though with the COVID that you have the proper equipment, safety equipment for the people who actually go on calls to known COVID patients? And I asked that question because I was told a couple of weeks ago, and I forgot the name of it, I'm sorry, but I know other counties have some special equipment that knowing if you're going into a COVID situation that their paramedics and their people wear this special garb, I guess you call it.
Yeah.
But do we have stuff like that?
We have what the CDC recommends as minimum PPE,
Minimum.
and that's and that's what we use. I think there's challenges in getting anything. That's been a challenge across the nation. I do have employees that have higher levels of stuff that they choose to wear that's within what CDC says, and they're certainly welcome to do that. But as far as what the Board of EMS and CDC says we should wear, that's certainly what we do.
So are you saying that certain people in your, they buy their own stuff that they wanna wear, or how? You say some people wear more, I mean,
There's
people
air
buy that?
purifying respirators that
Yes.
they have,
yeah,
acquired,
Mhm. that
they choose to wear.
okay. So it's not something we provided?
Correct, but
Okay.
it's certainly, it's a step above,
The
by
minimum.
definition above the minimum, yeah. And I hate to use the word minimum.
But it is what it is.
No, and I understand that. It's not, I don't feel that we're putting anybody in danger. That is what the CDC said. We wear gowns, gloves, goggles, masks, you know, and that's what we do. I don't feel that we're jeopardizing anybody. I think if somebody feels they would want more protection, they have the right to that. I've had no complaints from employees saying they felt they didn't have what they needed. A little short on gowns now, but I'm gonna work with emergency management today and get some more. It's just again a supply chain deals, so, supply and demand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I just think some of the other counties were using those extra, equipment, when you go to a known case,
Sure.
to help, so that your staff doesn't just kind of reduce the possibility. I don't know, I don't even know if this stuff works, but that's what I'm told.
Sure. I don't know that
So-
any of us know. We do the recommendations and we do the best we can. That's all I can say, Diane. I apologize if that's.
No, that's fine, like I said, people that have it love it, but then again,
Sure.
I guess, you know, you could go in there with all kinds of chemical garb and feel great. But,
Yeah.
you know, put on your hazmat and
Sure.
whatever, if that's
Sure.
the way they feel.
Yes.
Anybody have anything else for Travis? Okay,
All right.
thank you, John.
All right,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
coming back and just answering these few questions.
Sure, absolutely. All right.
I did get a text message from Brad at, let's see what time it was, 9:30, that said he was on his way, so he should be here before too long,
Okay,
so.
so, I'm gonna take a recess, we wanna go. Does anybody have anything else that needs to be added to the agenda?
I have something under the commission comments, but I can bring it up prior,
Take it up now.
if you wanna do it now. Just thinking about, 2021 salaries. I think it's appropriate to at least discuss it. CPI for 2021 is 1.3%. And, you know, last year when we were looking at the budget, you know, we had worked up a 0% and a 1.5% pay raise increase across the board. Which, well, I can hand these out so you can see the totals.
Keep one for yourself.
Yeah, if I can find one, so. 1.5% across the board, excluding commission, be $88,579 if we went with a 1.5. Now, we could back it off to the 1.3, which is consumer price index, which is, you know, that affects Social Security recipients. But, you know, 1.3 just to keep up with the cost of living. So, I know that affects our bottom line, but we need to also take care of our employees.
You know, you went through a change in some of the lower employees as far as one, the position I'm taking up as a janitor that we had. He's changed his position, went to another field in the county. Your new person coming in, did you go back to the low step there? What did you do to a person coming in? New hire.
The person came in lower than the previous person, but not as low as the bottoms of the pay plan.
I'm just picking on one position, that's the.
No,
And that particular position did not receive a pay increase when they moved departments, but they potentially have the ability to, with training, move up in that department where they didn't have the ability to move up in the other position.
I mean, I think we need to address a pay plan or early 2021, but just showing good faith to our employees.
Yeah,
When was the last time we did the COLA? Cost of living adjustment?
Was it year before last?
Seems like it.
I can look, I don't know, right off.
Just trying to remember. I thought we were here for that, so.
He's already on.
Yeah, so. I thought.
yeah.
I'm not absolutely positive. I'm looking at Dave here, trying to cue his memory too.
Well, and we sat here for 6 months.
I know. Yeah, so I might have been sitting over there when it
I
came
know
out.
the
We talked about it.
CPI last year was also 1 point something.
We have some employees under 30,000. We have some employees that's over 60,000. At 1.5 goes quite a bit on the 60,000.
Right.
And not on 30,000.
Right. That's why I said we gotta address the pay plan. I'm just looking at being fair with employees going
Correct.
forward, getting the year started, because we don't know when we're gonna get a pay plan passed, if it's gonna be in March, if it's gonna be in June. You know, of course, you can always make things retroactive, but you're also
Yeah,
taking a hit when you do that.
we also want to keep the good employees, and don't want to lose them.
You know, we're having a number of retirees every year.
It brings up a good point, Randy said, you know, the cost of living, sometimes it's factored in as a percentage, but you know, everybody's cost of living for the same piece of bread goes up, the same amount. So, when you're talking about a cost of living, it should be spread out evenly in that form, rather than just a percentage based on your salary. I think you had a plan last time around, I think. Yeah, you had, that's why I'm remembering this cost of living, because you did have something in the
Well,
works
I
of like
took-
quarter or 50 cents per everybody.
Yes, yes, that's right. That way you people that are making 70 and 80,000, they get a nice annual increase.
Mhm.
And your $10, $12 an hour person, if you don't even notice it, it's 12 cents maybe, is what it will actually amount to on an hour. So I felt like where our problem is that we have the big ugly part of it is your lower 1/3 of your employees need to be brought up. That was my plan.
That seems to be where you have the most turnover. I mean, that's why
Right.
they're leaving, because of their wages. You don't find the 50 and 60,000 leaving every day to go somewhere else.
Well, and that's right, and not only that, those people who are making those smaller wages, their jobs are just as essential as the people making the higher wages.
So, I would definitely lean more that direction on cost of living rather than a percentage across the board. I would prefer to see it,
Yeah.
everybody got.
Quarter or 50 cents or something.
Yeah.
I'm not against either way, I just wanted to bring it up discussion, because it's time to do it.
And take this 88.5 here and then break it down by however many employees we have. And,
How many employees do you have right now, Tina, do you know? Roughly?
total.
I don't have a total.
Or how many positions, I guess.
Is it
rather than-
105,
Maybe
give
not
or
everything's
take?
filled.
Somewhere up in there.
I think it's somewhere around there, give or take.
Yeah, sorry.
That's fine.
You like them curveballs, right?
It's probably a little bit more than 105.
Okay.
I don't have that in front of me at the moment, so.
And then again, is this full-time employees and leave the part-times alone?
Yeah, because part-time, you also, I mean, that's just it. You have different classifications of employees, so
Yeah.
you probably have like 110 to 112 full-time, if I'm guessing, which I am.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then you have probably, I don't know, how many part-time right now?
To be fair, Kent, this 1.5%, is that the annual increase for the total year, or is that a monthly
Yeah.
payroll?
No, that's yearly.
Yearly?
So, which would be, since we're paid monthly, that would be, the monthly amounts would be adjusted by I'm not
Yeah,
quite sure
correct.
what you're asking. but-
Correct, yeah.
That's
But
monthly.
I didn't want this to be a 1-month payroll.
No,
of
no,
80,000.
No,
no,
that's
that's the whole,
that's a
those
12-month.
figures there are the whole year. And the last raise that you gave was in January of 2020, and I believe it was 1%. But I would have to go back and find that for sure,
I
because.
think that's what the CPI was last year. I remember.
So, anyway, so roughly, just for food for thought, this 88.5, you break that down by 112 employees, it comes out to just under 40 cents an hour. It comes out to 800 and some odd dollars per year for each employee, and then it breaks down to 40 cents, roughly.
And in some cases, that 40 cents is a little higher than taking the next step, in some cases on pay plan. In some cases not.
Yeah,
In
or
some cases
would
it
that
is.
throw us out of whack on step?
Move everybody up a notch, huh?
It's definitely doable now before we address the pay plan, rather than after we address the pay plan and then throw this monkey wrench into it.
You know,
Well.
we don't want to do that.
If you're still going to address the pay plan, the majority of the people that you're gonna need to move up are on the low end anyway. And so this may help you, if, something like this may actually help you get a little closer to where you should be starting. I mean,
It would even put some people, if I remember correctly, when I was doing the proposed new pay plan, even that 40 cents an hour would put some of those low-end people in the bracket of where they should be. You know what I'm
For
saying?
the new pay plan.
Yeah, they wouldn't be below, they wouldn't be below anyway.
Every Monday. Still don't. There's so many people that still don't get it.
Would you like it, could you have it by Friday?
Pardon me?
What 40 cents would do, or by Thursday, what 40 cents would do to us? Given, you said, what did you say, 40 cents?
I'm basically breaking down the 1.5 across
Yeah.
the board
Mhm.
and distributing it evenly rather than by percentage.
So we know that's gonna stay somewhere around that 88,000.
Yeah.
yeah, and keep in mind, these numbers were prepared back at budget time.
Yeah.
You know, so we
There has been
hope
a few salary
there have been
changes.
changes, but we've tried to kind of account for those, and it's just gonna depend on
Right.
if everything went according to the way we thought it was gonna go back at that time, so.
And may I ask you to do, if you're gonna do that, may I ask you to do, what, a 40-cent increase or a 45-cent and maybe a 50-cent? So we can see what, you know, because this is just what he threw out, and it was
Yeah.
a proposal,
Just
just a
rough.
starting plate. But I personally would like to see maybe 3 choices, to see what the most that we can afford would be.
So figured it on
Probably a
an
lot of
hour,
extra
like an
work.
hourly basis.
Yeah, at 40 cents, and 45 or 50, or 40.
However, just a couple choices.
Couple choices to see what it does to the budget.
Okay, tell me exactly what choices you would like, please.
I think it should be fairly easy if she just provided like a 10 cents per hour, because then we could just multiply that. You multiply it by 2 to get 20, you multiply it by 3 to get 30, you multiply it by, and then that saves her like some extra steps, I would hope,
Okay.
right? I mean, I'm not trying to step over anybody here, I just
No.
try not to make
No, make
extra.
it easy, that's fine.
Or what, 10 cents an hour, then we could,
We can bump it by 4 times and you get your 40 cents.
I look at it more as good faith, if, you know,
Yeah.
especially if we're serious about addressing a pay plan. This is a good faith step.
Yeah.
And there is a shortage of available workers in Marion County.
Oh, yeah.
We know that.
Yeah, our unemployment did pretty well compared
I can't
to
go out and hire
everybody
two
else.
people today. So we need to keep the qualified people that we have on staff.
Yeah. Does that suffice what you were
I'm
after?
fine with that.
I'm just asking if Tina can do that for us, but they're,
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
even if we have a special meeting on Wednesday.
Somehow I will do it.
She has her good help to help her.
Yeah, she gets a lot done.
I think that would be fair, give us some ideas of what we want to do. Whether the 1.5, let it ride, or whether you have the per hour. I'm in favor of the per hour and raising some of the people up.
More fair.
Same across the board.
Brings up the lower tier quicker than it does the upper.
And thank you, Ken. for-
I'm good with it.
All right, anything else? Just added that agenda item, but Brad ought to be here probably about
I
5, 10
think
minutes.
so, yeah.
Don't know if we need to take a recess.
It's a 30-minute drive from Newton, if you drive it legally.
Well, if he's gonna have executive session, you might see if there's any public comments now.
Yeah, that probably wouldn't hurt. Is everybody out there? We're gonna go ahead and take public comments before the counselor, just in case we do have some executive sessions. That way nobody's hanging around waiting. Nothing in the chat bubble. I've seen nobody's mic light up.
Everybody's happy.
So. All right. We'll close public comments then. All right, any commissioner comments?
So I'll just bring up one comment that I got wind of in McPherson. Probably everybody is aware of this, which I just got a copy, and this is a lousy copy of the newspaper article, that their commission actually banned all wind turbines in McPherson County. I think McPherson County, now those people in Bev Caboris, and she comes several times and things like that, they struggled for years to try to get this, and their commission put on a moratorium for a year. They've done their studies, they did a lot of research into it, and so on and so forth. And finally, it's now come to an end as of December 17th. Yeah, December the 17th, the commission voted, they actually put a ban. No wind turbines will be in McPherson County. And then they took it one step further, and they actually took the resolution power and the out of the planning and zoning. It's all through any CUPs or anything for businesses and things like that that are required to go through the commission. They took that out of the power away from the planning authority of planning and zoning, which I thought was an interesting step. I don't understand what that's about. I'm trying to find out, but I don't know why. It did say
Well, the
that.
buck stops there anyway, but.
Well, yeah,
But,
exactly. But
geez,
and I don't know the purpose of that, but I just thought that was an interesting side note that they took that out. But I do know that Sedgwick County has a ban on now McPherson County, and I do know there's a couple other counties that are working on it. And I just thought it was very interesting, very interesting. And I know the people over there were very relieved and happy for the most part. So it's kind of interesting.
I think, Diane, I'm going to comment on your comment.
What?
I like what you brought up there, because I've been around planning and zoning commission since they come in the 70s. That's the first time they started in I don't know, ours in County wasn't even in the 70s. I don't know, Dave, if you knew, when did the planning committee started?
Before my time.
It started in the 70s because my father was one of
There
the
you go.
first members.
Okay.
Was the first member.
Well, it was a big kick for
Late,
planning.
probably late 70s.
Late
I'd say.
70s, 78 or 9 in Peabody, and I've seen planning zoning committees. They've got a goal. If you set your goal to grow and you think your town's going to grow and do this, you rule out a lot of things that made your town. It might have made your county even. So I think you can rule out a lot of things, whether it's wind farms, cattle feeding lots. There's a lot of things here that affects both cities, counties. We in the city of Peabody smell a feedlot that's 1.5 miles or a mile directly across southwest, which happens to be in the direct wind. Now, if that was over 2 miles to the east, Peabody would never smell it. But they do when the wind's in the right place. What I've seen in planning and zoning committees is they wouldn't even allow when a business in the city of Peabody burnt, had a fire, that person had some money from the insurance, wanted to come up and build a new building like what this man just built in Tampa here in the last 10 years. They wanted to put a western, where he saved the fronts of the buildings, they wanted to put a western front that sort of matched the 1880s Main Street scheme, but yet planning and zoning ruled it out, and then the city commission ruled it out. And the man moved his business, took his barber business and went back to where he knew he could make twice the amount of money, but he loved, because he's married to a Peabody girl, so he moved to Peabody, but he went back to Newton and left Peabody because of that. And planning and zoning has to be able to change, and like you guys just said, the buck stops here, and we have a different outlook of what we want to see up here than what planning and zoning, because they've got a set of rules they got to follow. And they can give us good recommendations, and I think the recommendations, one of them I'll start with right off the get-go is in order for Marion County to grow, is we've got to allow the 3 to 5 acre old home sites to still be able to be built on. And yet we at one time had a 40 acre rule, and then it dropped and went to 20, and then it went to 10, and then it's down to 5 and 3 now. It depends on what it is. So these planning and zoning committees, I think, has to have the same outlook as what this commission or city commissioners want to see in their city. And so I sort of like what they did there, but yet leave the planning and zoning, give them some new ideas, give them some goals to work with that matches the city commission goals, and maybe when they give a recommendation up, fine, it goes right through, instead of being shot down, or the city commission or the county commission overrules what the planning and zoning committee does.
And that also plays a part into, and also escaped me, the plan, the county plan, which is generated by the commission, which the planning and zoning should work off of that plan as well, to make sure.
Comprehensive plan.
Comprehensive,
Yeah.
yes, you're right. It should all conform there. But that all originates in the planning and zoning currently. They created the comprehensive plan, they create everything else, and then we just approve what they present, pretty much so now.
We used to have Tom Brown come do that comprehensive. He did. He's what, the mayor?
He did a strategic plan.
Strategic planning. There we go. There's another one. Yeah, strategic planning. Yes, he did that for a while with us, and it's tough to meet those goals that you set. I mean, you want growth, but to get it, sometimes it just don't happen in 5 years, 10 years, whatever you want to do it. So.
And I will comment also on what you said about the feedlot. That's true. Feedlots, whether it's hog farms or just cattle farms or whatever, they put off those horrible odors.
Yes.
That actually trickles down a lot of times into the revenue that comes into Marion County, because if you're a resident and you live close to one of those, that affects your property tax. That is a deterrent to lower and reduce those property taxes. So, I mean, there should be, in my opinion, certain places for those, and certain places where you do have to sometimes regulate certain things.
Yeah, and just going through tax deals right now. We've had our taxes go out, and we've been having the hearings set up and things like that. But I'll guarantee you, I can bring a packet in, I think it's in my truck, about what they sent out for my hearing, and it don't have nothing about whether there's a feedlot a mile away from Peabody or not on what affects their appraised value. And it should. I mean, if you have that
I'd
big
bring that
problem.
up if I were you.
Well,
But that's important.
it's just one of them deals that the appraiser's office is setting values because they've got a bunch of pictures and prices, and that's what they send you. That's what you get when you go in for a appraise, a value increase or decrease. They tell you that you've got to prove what you think, even though the counties, they can prove what they've said already because that's what their figures are, so they can do that because they have a set of books. So I think some of we have room for improvement in county government, state government, even though the state took over all the, and I don't know when that was either. That's been a few years when the state took over the appraiser situation to where the county commissioners didn't hire somebody that was a pet or something like that. It was, you had to have that rule and guidance and stuff like that. So it's improving, but yet I think we have, in our county, we have better sales in Hillsborough, Marion, and you get farther out, the sales are out there because the people want to come there, not because it's the actual, maybe the value's up, but they want to come there. And it's not because the jobs are here out in some of our small towns. They want to be there for a reason. And I don't know what, so we've got room for improvement. We're not perfect. And
Key words, we can always improve.
Yeah.
Work on our efficiencies.
Yes.
But you can also kill your economy with your planning and zoning too.
Yeah.
Always keep that in the back of your mind.
There's two other incidents in Peabody that's happened that they went right down the road because planning and zoning shut them down. And it's tough.
What was that?
Huh?
That was a while back?
It's been a while back, yes, through the years. And we've had it since the 70s. Peabody's come in since then, but they had a goal to set it high, and now we've lost numbers of people. The older people are gone because Marion County was, what was we? We was close to the top 15 years ago of the oldest county population in the state. And now we're dropping down some, but at one time we was close to the oldest population.
Second highest.
Second highest or third, yeah, I don't remember how long that's been. Been 15 years or so ago.
Yeah, 15 years, maybe 20.
Yeah, maybe 20.
They've all died now.
And so but we've lost what happened in Peabody. Some of those houses that we own now as a county for taxes have never had no work done on them because of the older population. We didn't have plumbers, we didn't have electricians, we didn't have carpenters in our city that people could hire and things. And when you go to another city, you bring people in, it costs more money. So I guess I'm lucky to see how my life, and I've been in one town long enough now to see what all goes around comes around. And it's just been an eye-opening experience for me because I like to build new properties. And I like to see new things. So, or remodel things.
We still have counties in Kansas that don't have any planning and zoning.
Yes.
Out west, there's a number of them.
Yes.
That causes some grief too in some of the, what was it? We went to Kansas Association of Counties.
Down in Wichita.
Wichita, and there was counties that were actually struggling because they didn't have a planning and zoning because there was no way to prove to the state that you could use those funds in certain things like that. And it was in their advantage to have a planning and zoning. I remember taking that.
It's easy to say that's a bad thing, but we also have seen southwest and northwest Kansas probably grow economically at a faster rate than central Kansas.
Because they don't have planning and zoning, right?
Well, they don't have that, but they have areas that big ag companies want to utilize, and they don't have as many restrictions. Whether that be a dairy or feedlot, all the ancillary businesses that go along with that are a bunch.
And when you move into a county or a city, you better find out what could be your neighbor before you buy. I mean, we have that perfect example out here at the county lake, that where the lady thinks she can put anything in, and horse, or I don't know what kind of animals they emus and other things. Oh, I just made a trip to Cameron, Missouri, back to a 50th anniversary here a week and a half ago on a weekend, and went to this 50th anniversary. That lady, after we went back the next morning for breakfast with them, because we run around with them in our younger days, and so, but anyway, she said, oh yeah, Randy, said, since you're in the county, your county, this Caldwell County, which is east of Cameron, Missouri, has been planning zoning, and I can only have 3 dogs out of my house now, which is, in some ways, the city of Peabody has 3 dogs, but Cameron, this whole county zoned for 3 dogs.
Out in the county.
Out in the county, yes.
So I could go out there and start me up a bird dog business.
Not unless you probably go through for a permitting or something like that.
Yeah.
But in the same token, less than a mile from them lived a person that was hoarding dogs and cats that were strays. And then she fell, hit her head. And so the gentleman now, I mean, this is real life within the last 2 months. She fell, hit her head, died, and the gentleman's lost now, and he's got 40 dogs. And as of that Sunday morning that we was eating breakfast, there was a whole bunch of city people coming up to rescue the dogs. And so that was a real life thing. But it was funny how that come up in our conversation, that a county zoned or just cleared out to 3 dogs.
That's kind of crazy. I'm trying to wrap my head around in a county.
But it's about 35 miles north of Kansas City. All your city people, I mean, since
Urban sprawl.
Urban sprawl, since the 70s when I started going up there, 50 years ago. That's, yeah, crazy. But I've seen so much growth from between Kansas City, Kansas, and Missouri go towards north, up towards Cameron. Cameron has 2 prisons up there that has close to 3,000 people in it. They was also going to get an Arby's till they found out that 3,000 inmates or people in that city was in the inmates, so they knew that those 3,000 people wasn't going to go to Arby's. And so, because Arby's is just like McDonald's, they work on numbers, numbers for your business. And so, but when they found that Cameron had 2 prisons up there with close to that number of prisoners, they backed off and didn't go to Cameron. So it's a big game, it's a big deal. I mean, planning, zoning, the whole thing figures in. And
On the other side of, I mean, as far as improvement goes, I mean, we need to seriously brainstorm on how we bring people here. That's on the economic development side of things. I mean,
Well, you can't deny them, and you know, like,
yeah, once they're
the banned wind farms, what a big corporation might be coming in to put in a factory, he might be a little scared if this county is not supportive of advancement
of growth.
and environment and anything else. They'll look someplace else because they're not looking for another fight. They got enough troubles to survive.
well,
So you gotta have a welcome flag out now to do not disturb.
So,
we do have a welcome flag. I mean, it's been hurdles, but
It's
they're
not real welcome.
but they're here.
but the thing about it is too, like, I was kind of disappointed when I heard that meat packing plant was gonna go in Abilene. I think that would've been a great thing, you know, the jobs that that's gonna create. That would've been great for Marion, and we have lots of rural areas to where that could have gone. I didn't even know they were pondering on putting one up there, so I don't know that we weren't even considered.
What was the?
But then,
We don't have the population to command a meat packing plant.
you know.
There's several different things. When you look at
Yeah,
that,
you could've had that here.
the I-70 and I-35 corridor
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
is a real foot up
Yeah.
when it comes to.
What was
True,
the
but
business that
that's
just
not
moved
what
into
most
Peabody?
Meat packing plants go right there on
Somebody-
main highways.
Decent
I mean,
sized
there's
company.
Canton,
I thought.
and.
Or they're looking at
but
Peabody,
anyway,
haven't moved yet.
I would like to see it, but here, that creates a lot of jobs. And people would come down here from Houston trying to work.
Dollar General was the last thing.
But you know, we had a lot of people against
It's like a manufacturer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Something I
Against the
heard
meat packing.
was really
Up
looking
there?
at people.
No, if we had one here, I bet we'd have a lot of people against
I
it.
just
So
they
like,
smell
You know,
that.
you're gonna pollute the environment, it's gonna stink.
Would like to put out, they'd like to be able to know that, so open
The
market.
one up in Junction City, you can smell sometimes when you go by.
Oh, yeah, that's not even a slaughterhouse.
Yeah, that's just cut and package and cut.
does anybody else have any other commissioner comments? Very good. The man of the hour is here. So I'm gonna take it on to county councilor.
see what
See if they got the right folder.
need an executive session for personnel for 10 minutes.
Be all right with that being added to the agenda? Executive session, personnel, 10 minutes. Anything else we need to add to the agenda?
Contract negotiations on,
Yes.
Contract negotiation? Or,
That'll probably be about
15.
10, I would think, should probably do
Yeah.
that also.
yeah. Is everybody all right with that being added to the agenda? Okay. So that's it. All right. I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss item number 1. Or no, yeah. Personal performance of non-elected personnel for 10 minutes with the board, Brad, pursuant to KSA 75-4319B.
To include.
Okay, but is this something that there may be discussion on? Or is this 10 minutes gonna be a plan?
Should be initially, I think.
Second.
Second by Kent. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Five, zero. So 10 minutes, that brings us back. And 28.
Okay, back at 10:28.
Do something else.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, out of executive session, no action taken. Just,
Unless there's a request for additional time on this one.
you need any additional time?
How about an extra quick 10 minutes just to see where we want to go?
Okay.
With personnel.
So, we have a move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss item number 1, personal matters of non-elected personnel, personal performance, for 10 minutes with the board and Brad pursuant to KSA 75-4319. Second. Second by Randy. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. 10:32.
Okay, so we'll be back at 10:42.
Oh, 10:42, yeah. 10:32. That was quick.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, out of executive session, no action taken. Let's go on. Next item is executive session contract negotiation. So I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss item number 2, consultation of an attorney-client privilege for contract negotiation.
Better go 15 on this one.
For 15 minutes. with the board and Brad pursuant to KSA 75-4319. Second by Kent. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
How many minutes?
15.
So we'll be back at 11.
11.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, out of executive session, no action taken. These candies need to be given to the staff.
I do have one more item of administrative
Okay.
that came in. We have received some documentation now for another one of our CDBG grant recipients, and so we just have that. Their grant has already been awarded. It's just that one form that the chairman needs to sign.
Says for the family shoe repair. And I'll go ahead and sign this as long as there's no objection.
For the what?
For the family shoe repair, their amount has been upped. Around. No objections? Okay. Had the sticky note and everything, almost signed the wrong place, again.
These red arrows are gonna sign here.
Next time I'll have to cover up that spot.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I look a little harder anymore. Okay. Having nothing else, does anybody else have anything else? I'll make a motion to adjourn. Second? Aye. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Flip a coin, it's either Kent or-
I grabbed Diane because I heard her first.
Okay.